I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Oh, Jim Moore, I'm sorry that we were late. My apologies. I got caught up. Sorry to be late to the show. Welcome in, kiddos. It was a last-second editing with a very lengthy Ryan Divish today. There was a lot to talk about with Divish. So we record in the morning before we do the Daily Puck Drop on Wednesday. Went long, scrambling to get it. I can't play all of it, so I got to edit it down for the live show. So that's what it caused me to be late to the show today. Not Jim Moore's fault. Not anyone's fault. It's my fault. It was my fault. So, hello. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Well, was Divish going long? I imagine he was pretty good.
He's very good. There was just it's just a lot to talk about. This story, which of course we'll cover with Randy Arozarena and Cal Raleigh. It just keeps getting it better and better, and not better how you want to interpret it. We got Team USA falling apart to Italy yesterday. On Tuesday, the manager, who I adore, apparently doesn't know the rules, or no one with Team USA doesn't know the rules. It's just an absolute cluster. So we're going to cover it all today on the show. But my God, yesterday or Tuesday was a newsy day. I mean, you got everything.
NFL free agency and the World Baseball Classic, all the shenanigans going on there. Randy and Cal, the fallout from that. Yeah, you're right, Puck. There's a lot going on yesterday.
Bam Adebayo scored 83, the most unlikeliest player in the history of the NBA, who's now the second time all time for a single game points behind Wilt Chamberlain. That guy.
Yeah, it was crazy. I looked up his stats. He averages 20 a game.
I think
his 83 last night.
I think his career high was 41. I think before that, something like that.
Yeah, it was, and then Kobe with the 81. So, yeah, there's some people, some naysayers out there, including my son Stevie, that were saying it was a joke of an 83 points, the way he got to it. But still, 83 is 83. It's pretty incredible. I mean, I go back to the Wilt Chamberlain days when Wilt still scored 100 points in one game, but I don't think that's ever going to be broken. But I didn't think Kobe's record would be broken either.
Now, I don't remember watching Wilt play, so I don't know if they were purposely fouling the other team. So the Philadelphia, were they the Warriors at the time, right? I don't know if they could foul to get the ball back, because that's what the Heat did last night. They were fouling intentionally. That's terrible. It's just Bush. It's Now I can't remember Kobe's 83 or 81. There were shenanigans in that? Was there shenanigans in that one too?
It reminded me of the Globetrotters against the Generals.
All right. So I mean,
but in that instance, it was Kobe's last game ever.
That's right.
And so, but boy, did they give him a clear path to the hoop.
Yeah. Okay. So like an all-star game is what you're telling me.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well. We got the show. We got a great show for you today. We'll talk Team USA. Divish will be a part of the show. Of course, hey, caught up with an old friend of ours yesterday, and he wants me to tell you, hello. He misses you. He's thinking about you every single day.
Yeah.
He's about 5'4", probably weighs 120 pounds. Would lie on occasion, but thought it was funny that he would lie on occasion. We would catch him in his lies, and then he'd be like, "Oh, I was just kidding." Wait, were you kidding or telling a lie?
Is he a jockey at Longacres?
Loves the NBA. Recently married, but didn't tell anyone.
God, 5'4", 120?
Spends most of his time watching the NBA and getting a new tattoo.
I'm drawing a blank. Help me.
co-hosts a Seahawks podcast with his best friend. You're unbelievable. Everybody in the chat has the answer except for you.
No, nobody in the chat has
Everybody does. Everybody.
I know. I'm going to kick myself when I don't know who it is.
Went to Washington State University.
Okay. The 5'4", 120 thing is throwing me.
You saw him every day.
5'4", 120.
You're unbelievable. You are unbelievable. This guy
Shit,
really
I'm
made
60
an impact on you.
You know what? I'm 68, man. I might be losing it. I don't have the brain cells I used to have. A lot of them I left over in Moscow, Idaho at the billiard den. So what do you want from me?
An intern with you.
Chris Kidd.
Jesus. Yes, there you go.
He's not 5'4", 120.
Yes, he is. God almighty. Where's the
He's
applause?
not 5'4", 120. If you'd said I lost a game of horse to him.
He's 5'4", 120 pounds.
No, he's not.
Yes, yeah, well, you don't remember him. Yeah, he is. He's about 5'4".
Kid.
Yeah. No, you didn't. I gave you every indication.
No, I know. I should have come up with
every
that.
hint. My God, man.
Okay,
sorry,
so where did you
Chris.
catch up with him?
I don't know. You are just talk about a guy that Chris obviously didn't make an impact on your life.
Chris made a big impact on my life.
Really?
Doesn't he was the
sound
reason
like
that
it.
we had. Did we have success on the show? Did we ever have any success?
Not
whatever
because of
mediocrity
Chris.
we had, we owe it to Chris Kidd.
Not because of Chris.
You know the thing about Chris Kidd.
You know the thing about Chris Kidd is. I miss that guy.
Sean Dugar. I want him back. Can you get the voicemails going again?
I don't know. That guy went away. I don't know.
So I'm just sitting here on my couch in Kenton. You know, I was thinking about the thing about Chris Kidd. Oh my God, he was great. I can't do it, but he was terrific at it.
We had lunch yesterday at the one and only, and I'm still paying for it right now. I love it, but I'm still paying for it. We ate at 3:30, and I'm still full and still feeling it. Sisters and brothers.
Okay, but you've probably eaten since then too.
No.
Yes, you have.
I have not had a single thing to eat.
Okay, wait a minute. You've gone from 3:30 yesterday.
Yeah, because I can't.
To 10 o'clock today without having a single thing.
Nothing. I've had coffee. I'm so full from it. And you remember that it's a heavy meal.
Is this your version of intermittent fasting or something?
No, this is the intermittent fasting because I can't eat anything because it's so spicy. Just it's a hot one.
How is Chris?
He's I don't want to say it. He's not doing well.
Come on, let's hear some dirt about KJR. Let's go.
I'm not going to give you any dirt. I'm not going to give you any dirt at all.
I want dirt.
I know. This is why no one over there talks to you anymore. Because this is what you want, right? You understand that.
Okay. Hey, listen, dickwad. I can't think of another name. There are people there who will talk to me, and I have proof of that. I was laying in bed the other night at 11:15, getting ready to nod off, and my phone rings. I'm going, Jesus, who the hell would call me at 11:15 at night? Jessamine McIntyre called me. Okay, so don't just shake your head. You just said there's no one over there who will talk to you.
She doesn't really.
She's the assistant program director. She works with Ian Furness over there, and she's a good friend of mine.
She's old school. She's not really. She's not original KJR. The original KJR people won't talk to you.
Ian will talk to me, but you know what's funny about Jess? When Jess talks to me, and honestly, we just talk as friends. I don't, I don't talk to her about what's going on at KJR at all. We just talk as friends.
You pry,
honestly. But if anything ever comes up, she's like, "Don't put it on your fucking Substack, Jim." So
yeah. That's why people don't.
I told myself I wouldn't swear anymore. I apologize. It just slipped there. I won't do it again.
That's why people don't talk to you.
I won't do it again.
Because you put it on Substack.
No, I get a bad rap sometimes. I mean, I deserve the rap I have sometimes, but there are other times that I get a bad rap, like Jim always plays the victim card and all that bullshit.
Check.
I swore again.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You play the victim card a lot.
Yeah. Well, what kid have to say for himself? How's the Man to Man podcast going?
He's doing great. He's doing great. He looks great. Looks the same. We had a wonderful lunch. He's
Does
doing
he miss
wonderful.
us? Would he rather be working with us?
I would say that he misses me.
No, Chris came up to me at a Husky Cougar basketball game last year, and he was seemed genuinely happy to see me.
Yes, he's happy. He's Chris. He's always happy. He's doing great. Did you know he's married now?
I wasn't quite sure of that. I never knew what his status was with his girlfriend, fiance, wife. I didn't know what the deal was there.
Well, when we left, or actually, sorry, when you were fired, and I left, I think he was engaged at the time. I just want clarification.
You have to bring that up. Which time?
When you were fired by KJR.
Okay.
I'm just clarifying for those that don't know the story.
Okay. All
so
right.
I think he was engaged when we left.
Or when I was fired.
When you were fired and I left.
Yeah.
Exited out.
Yeah.
But he didn't tell anyone. He didn't tell anyone that he didn't have you know what? He's going to hate me for this because he's like, oh, I don't need to announce it to everyone. And then I'm announcing it to everyone. So, well, sorry, Chris. He got married at a courthouse. Didn't even have a ceremony. Nothing. They went to a courthouse, got married. No party, no nothing.
Did he at least get on one knee and propose? Did he call her dad for permission to marry her? Did he do some of the traditional things? I'm good with him getting married at the courthouse, but there are different things you have to do leading up to that.
I did not ask that. I'm just saying I think he probably did all that, but that was like 2 years ago. I'm just saying he's been married for a year and just didn't tell anyone. So
all right.
Just kind of kept it private. They wanted to have it private to themselves. They didn't need the big, and I respect that. Hold on. I can't remember. I'm just trying to see if she's on a call or not. The boss. It's what I tried to propose. Like, why do we need the big celebration? Spend all the money. Why do your parents need to spend all the money on the wedding and the party? And why don't we just get married in our backyard? Just invite our friends over. That's all it is anyway. It's just a big party. I was told no.
Yeah.
You don't understand. This is a big day for them. Okay.
I think the groom goes into it with a different feeling than the bride does.
I understand that. Yes, you're right. All right. We are a sports show. We've done 13 minutes talking about, lunch with Chris Kidd. And
you brought it up.
I know I did. This is me. This is my fault. No one's fault. All right.
There's a lot of news we should be talking about. Right
We're going to get to all of it. I promise. All right. The big thanks to Limback Lumber. Shout out to the Limback Lumber Studios. They provide this great content every day. Give them a call at 206-782-3487 and visit them at limbacklumber.com. They offer free deliveries, everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects. They've been doing work since 1930. Visit me on social media everywhere, Puck Sports, and of course, visit pucksports.com. That's where you can get a link to sign up to become a Pucks Posse member. Jim joins us on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and he's brought to you by...
Yeah, I'm going to do my ad read with a little more passion than you did yours. We're brought to you by Limback Lumber. They sponsor us every single day. No, hey, I'm Puck. I'm brought to you by Brotherton Cadillac and Shoreline, Brotherton Cadillac and Brotherton Buick GMC in Renton. Know what you can expect from Brad Brotherton: customer satisfaction. Thanks to a dedicated, no-pressure, stress-free sales approach. No surprise, just one of the many reasons why Brotherton Auto has been around for a long time, 4 generations in the car business, all the way back to the early 1900s. Check them out in Shoreline or Renton, or visit them online at brothertonauto.com. Also want to thank Brian Turner. Brian Turner is a good friend of mine at A Clean Streak, roof cleaning, gutter cleaning, pressure washing, window washing. They'll do it all so you don't have to. And remember, you don't have to get on the ladders. They'll get on the ladders and die for you at a clean streak. For a free estimate, call 360-395-5748 or visit acleanstreak.com.
It really should be on their website when you go to acleanstreak.com. Let us do the work so you don't have to die.
Yeah, the ladders, stay off ladders. I don't care how old you are, stay off ladders. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Let Brian Turner die for you.
They got great work there, Brian Turner and A Clean Streak. Read all the reviews. It's 5 stars, just like this show. 5 stars on Apple and Spotify, and also 5 stars on YouTube. All right. Well, the Cal Raleigh story and the Randy Arozarena story is not going to go away. All right. It's just not. Now, Mexico, we're going to get into Team USA and Mark DeRosa and all that one, but Mexico and Italy are playing later today. Now, there is an assumption that Arozarena is going to talk before the game because he hasn't talked. Now, Cal did talk to Ryan Divish and Daniel Kramer and Shannon Dreyer yesterday. FaceTimed him. And he did a media session with that group before he did the one on the field in Houston with reporters there. I'm going to play that one, what he did yesterday, because I don't have the other audio. The interview or the statement he did with reporters in Houston, in case people did not see or hear what he had to say.
I mean, obviously regarding the thing yesterday with Randy, I love Randy. I do. I hate that this is a thing. There's no beef. When we get back to Seattle, he's my brother. We're family. I already reached out to him, so it's just a competitive environment, and I know he would want the same for me when we're on the team in playoff baseball, and I just have a responsibility for my teammates here right now and my country, and emotions are running high. So, but like I said, I love Randy. He's awesome. He's been great for our team, and like I said, we talked, and this isn't a big deal at all. So we're good friends, and we'll continue to be good friends. And I think we're just enjoying competing against each other right now. And that's really all I have to say about it. So
were you able to laugh about it when you talked?
What's up?
When did you guys talk?
I'm probably not going to take questions. I'll just answer that. I shot him a message this morning and reached out, and like I said, I don't anticipate this being a thing going forward. So
for those of us who don't understand, what responsibility stops you from talking to your?
I'm going to just leave it at that. I love Randy. I'm excited to play with him this year, and like I said, we're having a fun time here at the WBC. So I'm looking forward to trying to bring home championship for our team. So thanks, guys.
All right. That's Cal Raleigh with reporters yesterday. So he just did a statement and then didn't take any questions from anyone.
No, that was well done for someone who didn't want to answer those questions anymore. Yeah, he could have been a lot ruder, but he did it in a nice way, which I appreciate. But you said Randy hasn't said anything. He hasn't said anything since he made those comments where he went off on Cal.
Well, he hasn't said anything since and again, it's not clear whether they actually have talked. Because Divish and
maybe they just texted with each other. It sounded
well,
like
again, and Divish, you'll hear the interview coming up later. I don't even know if they did respond. Divish thinks they did, but I don't think there was any clarification from Cal himself with the Seattle reporters whether or not he actually did connect with Randy Arozarena. Like, did they have a back and forth conversation? I think that's still unclear whether or not they did or not.
You could argue that media people like you and I are making a big deal out of nothing, and that's what Cal is hoping for too. But I think you're right. There's still some unclear parts to this story. We still don't know if Randy was just kidding when he went off on Cal. We like to think that he was, but we don't know that part of it either. So it'll be interesting to see if reporters talk to him before that game against Italy tonight with Mexico and see what he says. See if he doubles down on what he says the other night, or I just where are you on this? Like, I think Cal could have avoided a lot of these issues if he had just stuck out his hand and just did a fist bump or a little polite handshake or whatever, and then there would have been nothing. But I can't believe that it was such a competitive atmosphere that Cal couldn't have extended his hand to Randy, and then this would have been nothing.
Well, you're going to hear it later, and then we'll put it up for the Patreons, for the Pucks Posse. You'll get the full Divish experience. It's about 35 minutes or so. He will say, I don't know, in the edited version that I'll play later, I don't know if he says it in that part, but he had a coach or a scout text him saying, listen, Randy doesn't have a sense of humor. He doesn't understand funny. So I think the angle that he was trying to be funny, it sounds like that's not it. It also sounds like, and I brought this up, I think, the other day, I think when we talked about it, well, maybe it was with you, or I don't know who I talked about it with, but maybe he had pine tar. Now that maybe could be had pine tar in his hand. He wanted Cal to touch his hand, and they put pine tar on the ball.
I heard you saying that. That was an interesting conspiracy theory. Well,
but they've done it. That's kind of their thing. Like a lot of the players do it. And that's been kind of their known thing. That's why some don't shake their hand, because they're like, first of all, anytime a hitter, how many times have you seen a hitter come up to a plate and shake the hand of the catcher? What do they normally do?
Well, never.
What do they normally do? They tap the shin guard with their bat or slap on the butt. No one sticks out their hand like, hey, good to meet you, Charlie. No one does that, ever. So
yeah, but they're teammates, though.
I know, but why didn't he just do? I'm just saying, if he had pine tar in his hands and that was what he wanted to do, why just fist bump him or tap his shin guard? That you can acknowledge him like that. But he stuck it out. Now, according to Divish, I think there could have been a thought that the U.S. just did not want to engage in any type of camaraderie with teammates if that came up. And so I think the message was, listen, they're your teammates when you get back to spring training. Here, they're our enemy, right? We're going to war. And so let's separate that right now. Let's have that line drawn. So I think
maybe Cal said something to that effect to him in that moment.
I think there's a good chance that maybe it was brought up prior. Hey, if you come up, I'm not going to acknowledge you or do that. So don't do it. Because remember, Randy did it last time out to Will Smith, and Will Smith didn't shake his hand and all that. Now, they weren't teammates. These guys are teammates, so it's different. If there was a conversation beforehand, hey, don't do that, and then he did it, and then he's leaning down, what did you say? Then again, that's on Randy. It's on Randy for being Randy. Like, if you had a conversation beforehand, if that happened, I'm just going to stress, if that happened, then Randy should have known better not to do that. Now, how do I feel about it? I don't know. I mean, I think it's if the leaders on that team stress to everyone, we can't acknowledge the other team, and even if you're teammates, I think it's a little silly. I do. I think it's a little silly. I mean, and I know everyone's, you're a sheep. You don't understand what competitiveness is. Remember when Kobe ran through Pau Gasol's chest to send a message? Yeah, I do. I remember that, and that was a cool moment. I would ask those people who feel that you don't understand, for someone who thinks that, Cal could have just dabbed him up and moved on. Well, you don't understand how the competitiveness of these athletes. I would ask you this. Where would you rank, of all the competitive athletes that you have ever covered in the history of covering sports and watching sports, where would you rank Larry Bird?
Oh, top 10.
Most competitive athletes you've ever seen?
Gary Payton's number one for me.
Okay. Where would you rank the Celtics-Lakers rivalry of the 80s?
Top 5.
Top 5?
Yeah.
Okay. What did Larry Bird and Magic Johnson do before every time they faced each other in every game,
I don't know,
including
did they
the
shake
NBA
hands or
Finals?
they have a
They
stare
dabbed,
down?
they dabbed each other up. Remember the old school, like not the knuckles, but the pound. They did it every single time. Every time.
It's a sign of respect, isn't it?
Yeah. So for those who are saying, "Oh, you don't understand the competitive nature," I'm going to push back on that. I think plenty of people do, but it doesn't mean you can't acknowledge someone before a game. I think Cal got caught up in whatever the message was from the leaders of that team saying that we can't do that.
If there was one. Do we even know if there was one?
I think it sounds like it was strongly suggested we are not going to fraternize with the other team even if you are teammates with them. I think it was strongly suggested that. Yeah. That's what it sounds like.
Okay, something else that you brought up that surprises me and I find hard to believe is that Randy doesn't have a sense of humor. And maybe when it comes to translation into English that the humor component gets lost. But to me, when I see Randy Arozarena play in left field and a baseball player, I'm thinking, that's a guy with a sense of humor. And so that surprises me to hear what you just said about that or what Divish had to say about it.
Again, I'm just relaying what was told to Divish. I don't know Randy Arozarena at all.
Okay. But
never interviewed him, never met him.
When you see him play, the way he plays, the flash, the panache, all of that, he seems like a guy that's kind of a fun-loving guy. So I like to think that when he was basically telling Cal to, F off, that he was just kidding around saying that.
Yeah.
And
again, I would just say, because I know people are going to say this, and we're like this Connor guy in our chat room. This is the most nothing burger story ever. Again, is it ultimately, will nothing come of this? Probably. Will this fracture the clubhouse? 99% no. But it's not nothing. And I think we do this as fans, especially when it's our team. When other people are kind of piling on our team, we get defensive about it instead of just taking a step back and looking at it objectively. Like, it's not a nothing story. A teammate went up to another teammate, tried to shake his hand, and that teammate said no. And then after the game, clearly not joking, which people thought he was, but clearly not joking, goes on in a tirade and tells him to F off. Now, again, if it's a nothing story, why did Dan Wilson feel the need to reach out to both? If it's a nothing story, why did Cal Raleigh feel to reach out to the Mariners, by the way, to do an interview with the beat reporters to clarify everything? And why did he do an interview in Houston with reporters there and not take any questions if it's a nothing story? Now, it's a nothing story, and who controls all of it now, I believe, is going to be Randy. And by the time this air, by tomorrow, this may be a truly a nothing story. If Randy comes out before they play Italy and kind of says what Cal said, hey, it's nothing, he's my teammate, it's all, we're moving on, then it's done. But you said in the beginning, if he comes out and doubles down on this, then it's more than a nothing story. And it's not, people need to stop blaming the media for everything. It's not the media's fault.
Puck, that's never going to happen.
Well, but it's tiresome in this era that we live in. It's not the media's not forcing Randy Arozarena to swear after the game about what happened. The media just asked him about it, and then he chose to go down that path. Again, if he speaks later on Wednesday and then continues to be upset about it, that's not the media's fault. That's Randy having a problem with what happened. And then it becomes a bigger story than what people want to make it out to be.
Well, I understand Cal wanting to talk to reporters back here because he's doing damage control. And he truly, in his heart of hearts, thinks that it's no big deal. And he wants to make that clear to everyone back here in Seattle. With Dan Wilson, I understand him wanting to talk to both parties and saying, hey, man, is it truly nothing? I just want to, try and mend fences if it is an issue. And so that's good that the manager made those calls. But I don't know. I agree with you. I do think it's something. And I just hope Randy gets off to a good start with the Mariners this year because he didn't play that well in the last 2 months last year. And his body language, and I just don't get the feeling that you look at this season, Puck, and everybody's thinking they have all the components to be a World Series contender. Finally, they do. I think we can all agree on that. And you don't want anything disrupting that and getting in the way of that.
Sure.
That's why it's such a big deal, too, because you think about that clubhouse chemistry part of it and how important that is.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to be looking back going, God, 2026, they had it all. But remember that beef that Cal and Randy had and things just didn't go well. Now, if Randy gets off to a good start, fine. I think he'll be okay. But if he doesn't, I think it bears watching even closer than we're watching it right now. So are we making a mountain out of a molehill? It's possible. But I think it's also possible that this could turn into be something. We'll find out more later today.
Yeah.
Maybe Arozarena will just say, hey, no big deal. I was just goofing around.
100%. That's 100%. And that's my whole point to all this. My whole point is,
as it stands right now, whose side are you on? Like if you're forced to take someone's side or who's to blame in this whole thing, I think Cal Raleigh's the one who's to blame. I don't think Randy is.
I'm not blaming any of them. I'm not.
I'm blaming Cal because it could have been avoided if he just put his hand out.
I think he's doing what the team wanted to do. He either alienates or upsets his teammate on the Mariners, or he upsets with the guys that he's playing with right now in the clubhouse. And if in the clubhouse for Team USA, and their message was, we are not going to fraternize with the other team. If your teammate comes up and they try to shake your hand, don't do it. If that was the message from those guys, how would he address that in the clubhouse when he go in there after the game?
Well, are we supposed to believe that when Mexico played the U.S. that Munoz didn't talk to Cal Raleigh before the game during batting practice? I mean, I just think you brought up a great point. All those great rivalries in the past, those guys talked and shook hands and respected each other. So it's if what you're saying is true, I don't get that part of it at all. You can still be highly competitive and acknowledge someone else that you're competing against.
I agree with you. I mean, that's why I brought up the Larry Bird and Magic thing. That I just think, I mean, I don't know if it's a GIF. I don't think that's going to work. There's Magic and there he is. Yeah. What happens? What do? They dab each other up for an NBA Finals game. So when people say, well, you don't understand, these guys are competitive, and you wouldn't get that because you guys are sports podcasters. Well, these are the two most highly competitive individuals that ever played in the 80s in the NBA. And they wanted to kill each other. And Magic Johnson had teammates and Larry had teammates that they would clothesline each other going up for layups. So, but they are also two of the greats that acknowledged each other before a game. So whatever. I don't think it's anything that's going to bother the team moving forward once they all get back to camp. I think the only thing that will carry this on, again, will not be the media. It will be Randy Arozarena himself. Because if Randy addresses it, before they come back and then continues to have an issue with it, then I don't think it's going to go away. And then I think that's something they'll have to address once they get back to the complex in Peoria. I think they'll all have to sit down and figure it out, like what's going on. Because here's the deal with Randy Arozarena. Listening to Divish, he's a pretty isolated guy inside that team anyways. Like, he's not like hanging out with everyone.
Well, remember last year, I don't think the teammates liked it when Randy wouldn't change his two-strike approach to hitting.
Well,
He's
and
just
this,
all or nothing, even with 2 strikes.
and this is what I brought that up with Divish, that that organization does a real good job of keeping a lot of things internal. They don't allow a lot of stuff to come out. You and I and all of us watching and listening, we've watched a lot of sports and watched a lot of baseball. And these guys most definitely roll their eyes and probably get upset when they watch him play defense and not go after a ball, or just look up and let it go and not even make an attempt to go to the fence to make a ground, or jog to cut off a ball, which he's done multiple times, or a ball comes right down the middle and he steps out of the batter's box, or steals second with Cal up to bat. Little things like that are just baseball 101 IQ dumb stuff that he does, but then we pass it off because he's got the ability to hit a 3-run home run. He's Randy Land. He's fun. He always throws the ball into the crowd. He's got a smile. But not all these guys are friends inside the Mariners clubhouse too. I mean, yes, do they have a good group? Yeah, but to sit there and say, Dan Wilson said it the other day, oh, they all get along great. That's bullshit. No team all gets along. No team in the history of sports all get along. And so little things like that, what Randy does and what other players do, probably annoys his teammates. This could pile on. I mean, you had one player in Daniel Kramer's story, an anonymous player who didn't want to go on record. And again, if it's not a big deal, why would he want to go on record? Say, I'm not going to touch that. So it's not a nothing story.
I'm surprised they allowed Kramer to have that story and that quote in his story.
You mean they
Mariners.com.
You mean they didn't pull down the video like MLB has pulled down the video as we transition to Mark DeRosa, who I love and adore. Like, I adore Mark DeRosa, and
he's so
Lauren
good.
Shahadi and Robert Flores. That MLB Central is my most favorite show of all time. But boy, he stepped in it. I heard and I saw what you wrote, and I probably agree with you, even though I don't want to. I don't know how you recover from this. I really, really don't. I don't know how you recover from this, especially from a guy that wants to be a manager in Major League Baseball. But for those who didn't see it, I have it. MLB has taken this video off of their website because they don't want anyone to see it. But he was joined the Hot Stove Show with it was hosted, and one of the hosts is Harold Reynolds.
You got 9 bodies ready to roll today, I would imagine.
Absolutely. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to get some guys off their feet, no question about it. I'd like to get Goldie a start, and he has been awesome, just a leader of men behind the scenes with Aaron Judge. I'd like to get him in there. I'd like to get Gunnar in there again. Ton of respect for Italy. It's weird. We want to win. We want to win this game, even though our tickets punched to the quarterfinals, because Mexico plays Italy actually tomorrow. So the way the schedule lines up, this is an important game for us. Nolan McLean will start. He's on the bump and he's good to go. He's an absolute beast, and I expect him to throw the heck out of it.
So that's what he said prior to the game. Now, he didn't know the rules, obviously. Now, he tried to clarify it in the post game, saying that he simply misspoke.
Is that true?
Yeah, I misspoke. I was on Hot Stove with a couple buddies today and completely misread the calculations. We knew that Mexico was going to play Italy and then running all the numbers with if we lost tonight with the runs allowed and runs scored and outs. So I just misspoke.
Ken standing on the right.
Now, I love Mark DeRosa, and I agree with most people today that cover baseball. That's not true. He didn't misspeak. He flat out got it wrong. And it's not just a Mark DeRosa fault. It's a Team USA fault. It's all the coaches on the team. It's the administrators. It's the organizers of it. The people that oversee it. He's got a lot on his plate as a manager of the baseball team. Lineups, pitching, all that stuff. There needed to be someone there. Like you've been there, a 12 or 13U travel baseball dad or mom that stays up all night on Saturday on Game Changer and understands all of the scenarios of which bracket they're going to be in on Sunday with the run rules. All right. You know, that parent, they know it better than these guys know it because they've lived it their entire life. Right. That's how you settle the tiebreakers. That's how you know if you're in the gold bracket or the bronze bracket or silver bracket. And he didn't know. And it's clear he didn't misspeak because of the lineup he put out there. He sat his best players. And then he goes with a 24-year-old pitcher who, again, is a lights-out pitcher. He's great. He's made 8 career Major League starts. 8. He had Clayton Kershaw warming up in the game. If he thought that this game didn't mean anything, that's why he had Clayton Kershaw warming up. I think then he realized late, oh, my God, it does mean something. That's why Mason Miller came in the game. And I feel bad for him. I watched that show religiously. I know how much, like this whole last year of that show on MLB Network, MLB Central, they spent so much time on him coaching the WBC team and putting it together and how important this is to him. And when you watch that show, you understand he lives and breathes baseball. And he wants to represent, to be the manager of this country and bring home a championship in the WBC more than anything. And eventually probably be the Olympic coach in a couple of years if they can play in the Olympics. And so it matters to him. But he screwed up. And I don't know if he can recover from it. I don't think a mistake. Everyone wants him fired and never be around Team USA ever again. And people are saying he'll never get a managerial job in baseball because of this. And that's always been the thought, that he wants to coach in the majors. I think people make mistakes, and I think you can get a redo. But you're right. If they get eliminated, don't win the whole thing, this will haunt him for the rest of his life.
Yeah. Do you think it jeopardizes his job at MLB Network? Does he lose all credibility? I hope it doesn't, because I'm with you, Puck. I love the guy's analysis. He's real well-spoken. It's a great studio show, so I hope it doesn't affect that part of it. But no, he can't be the manager of this team anymore after this year. I suppose even if they happen to get in and win the championship, I don't think you can bring it back. And maybe you could explain it and say, like you did, that an administrator should have told him, somebody should have informed him. But as the manager of the team, he should have known that. And it's unfortunate because he's so well liked. But you're right. That lineup that he put out there yesterday, and then having that pitcher as your starter, you were trying to win. But if you didn't win, you kind of felt like, well, it'll be okay because we're still going to make it. Yeah. You know what they were favored by last night? I've never seen this baseball line before. Mm-mm. They were minus 5.5 runs. Yeah. They were favored by 5.5 runs to beat that Italy team, and ended up losing 8-6. Now, here's a scenario I want to set up for you real quick, that involves Randy Arozarena. It's the bottom of the 8th inning, and I looked this up. I went down all kinds of rabbit holes on this deal today. Bottom of the 8th inning, the bases are loaded. Mexico has the bases loaded. They're ahead 4-0. There's 2 outs. And so Italy just has one more at bat in the top of the 9th. Randy Arozarena's at bat, and it's 4-0. Now, if Mexico wins and it's 4 or fewer runs, Mexico and Italy go. They advance. But if Mexico wins 5 or more runs, then it's Mexico and the U.S. that goes. So if you're Arozarena, do you intentionally strike out so that your team wins 4-0 instead of 5 or 6-0? Because you can affect, with that one at bat, you can affect what's going to happen. And with Arozarena, the problem is that you don't know if he's intentionally striking out or unintentionally striking out because it happens so often. So he can get away with it, and he can later tell reporters that, oh, yeah, God, he just, he threw me a 2-seamer that I wasn't ready for. And thinking in the back of my mind, yeah, shit, man, I was going to strike out anyway. I just think it's going to be fascinating tonight. I wasn't into the World Baseball Classic until all of this happened. And now I'm front and center, 4 o'clock. I'm going to be watching the first pitch of that game tonight.
Yeah, and not on Tubi. They made the decision not to air the game on Tubi. I'm like, what the F is Tubi? It's going to be on FS1.
If I'm Randy, I strike out. I do. I strike out intentionally.
Yeah, I'll take your scenario one step further. Not only if he comes up with the bases loaded 2 outs, they're leading 4-0, right, in the bottom of the 8th. He will not only strike out, he will step out of the box on 3 straight pitches and let him come right down the middle. That's what he'll do.
And then if you're Cal, you have a right to get mad at him. He'll go from no beef with Randy to big beef with Randy.
The U.S. and every other team would do the same thing. When you base it on if the U.S. could eliminate their biggest competition is Japan. If they could eliminate Japan based on this run differential like that, so replace it. They're up, bottom of the 8th. They're leading 4-0. But if they score 5, it pushes Japan ahead. But if they go 4, it eliminates Japan. They would strike out on purpose to eliminate Japan. So if I'm Mexico and the manager of Mexico, who was all agitated and rightfully so after that game, because that strike zone was horrendous and it favored Team USA in a big, big way. And he was agitated afterwards. And he says, I want to see them again. If we play them again, we're going to beat them. If they get a chance to eliminate them tonight by only scoring 4 runs, they're going to do it. And everybody else would do it. And you can't be mad at it. And Randy Arozarena, when they win the WBC after knocking off Japan, just walk like the cock with the walk coming back into Peoria. And if I were Randy, the first thing I would do would walk right over to Cal Raleigh, and like the guy, that meme on that video on the airplane where the guy's drunk trying to shake the guy's hand, I'd reach out my hand to Cal Raleigh. Want to shake it now?
Okay. All right. I got another question for you. How badly do you want the U.S. to win this tournament? And if you say pretty badly, then you want Mexico to score 5 runs or more tonight.
Yeah, I want Team USA to win. Yeah.
Okay. But now flip it around. There's the other side of it. There's Jason Puckett, the podcast host. What would be better for content tomorrow on your podcast? It's if Mexico scores 4 runs and wins the game.
Yes. What would be best for us tomorrow?
What do you want?
Mexico to win by 4 or less. I
do too, but that's unpatriotic to say that. God, I can't believe
I want them to win. But
okay, but then how much do you like Mark DeRosa? Apparently not enough to want Mexico to score 5 runs or more, because this guy's going to have to live with this the rest of his life.
Yeah, it's again, but I don't think, and first of all, I disagrray with you. He's not going to cost him his job at the network. That's not going to happen. He's
okay. All right.
Zero. How much would you like to bet on that?
I don't want to bet on it because I don't want it to happen. But for you to say 0%, for you to say it's 0%, you're completely wrong.
No, I'm not, Jim. There is 0%.
There is 1%.
No.
Okay.
0% that Mark DeRosa loses his job as a TV analyst over this decision.
Just buy my lunch at Sisters and Brothers like you did, kid, if I'm right about it.
Will it cost him a job to be a manager? Yeah, there's a percentage of that. Yeah, I can get behind that. I think if he wants to be a manager one day, he'll eventually get a job. I don't think it will, but I think there's a percentage he couldn't. To be kicked off the network. He's an Emmy award-winning analyst. The show wins Emmys every year. They're not going to fire him.
Okay. All right. Forget about that. If you're DeRosa, where are you watching the game tonight? Are you alone in your hotel room watching it? Are you biting your fingernails? Are you pounding beers? What are you doing? Because this is
pounding beers.
This isn't life or death for him, but
pretty close.
I know.
Pretty close.
I mean, is he going to be, waving the Mexican flag in his hotel room? And
I think he's going to have a sombrero on. I think he's going to be.
You should invite Humberto down, and they can talk about Jed Fish.
Humberto's going to be in the dugout. He's going to do shots of tequila all night long. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be grinding watching that game.
How about if it's 4-0 Mexico wins and they have to have do they have to have an exit interview? The U.S. team and about the disappointment of not. I mean, that's one of the all-time biggest blunders in sports history, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean,
if
if you look at their lineup, but I also would offer this that they offered a lot of spots to some really top-notch American pitchers that said no. So, guys that they had on, they were left to go with the Nolan McLeans of the world because, I don't think Logan Gilbert was interested in playing, not with a $200 million contract coming on the horizon. Brian Wu wasn't it. Brian Wu was asked. He didn't want to go. Tarek Skubal pitched one game and said, adios. So, when you don't have the best of the best, it's hard. Except for Paul Skeens. I mean, and Skeens was, freaking warrior, but you're not going to pitch him every game.
Yeah. Well,
it's going to be great theater.
Hopefully for DeRosa's sake, it will work out for him tonight. But if it doesn't, it'll make for a better show for you tomorrow.
You know what? I want them to win because like I told you, I'm in the bag for that guy. I just think he's great. And I don't want to see that being a legacy on Mark DeRosa. Yeah, when he screwed up the WBC, that's just going to be the worst for him. So for people who don't know, and I think many you explained it, but the tiebreaker is it's complicated but kind of simple. If Italy wins, it's the U.S. and Italy. They go, and really Italy is just U.S. light because everybody in their starting lineup yesterday is American. Everyone. That's the best part about it. Mexico wins with 5 or more runs. It's Mexico and the U.S. If Mexico wins 4 and scores 4 or less runs, it's Mexico and Italy. If it's an extra innings, I've seen people explain it. I'm not even going to attempt it if it goes extra innings. It's such a complicated formula that it's not worth it. So
it changes the 4 and 5 run.
There's something that goes so they'll play 4:00 FS1. Aaron, is pitching for Italy. Aaron Nola.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Aaron Nola's pitching for the Italians. Josh Naylor in Canada. They're taking on Cuba at 12:00. If Canada wins, they will advance to the first ever quarterfinals of the WBC.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, did you? You probably didn't watch the other day when they were playing. Was it Panama or Puerto Rico? I think it was Panama. Boy, his antics on second base were at like mid-season form of tipping pitches, mid-season form of telling the hitter where the pitch was coming.
Oh, that's great.
It was hilarious. All right, what else do I got for you? I don't know how much you care about Max Crosby. Yeah, whatever. Ravens backed out of that deal. He's going back to the Raiders. They signed Trey Hendrickson.
You talk about the Ravens up to no good with that one.
So what do you think they did? They
were a bunch of bullshit that Max Crosby failed his physical.
So do you think they did this?
They got a doctor on the take there in Baltimore.
So do you think they did this is that the feeling they did this on purpose to do what?
Yeah.
But why would they do
Trey
that?
Hendrickson as quickly as they did? They were negotiating with Trey Hendrickson while they were doing the Crosby thing, and then came up with this phony failing the physical deal.
So what motivates them to do that?
Because they think Trey Hendrickson is better than Max Crosby, and they don't have to give up 2 first-round draft choices.
Okay, but why not just sign Trey Hendrickson in the first place?
Well, maybe the negotiations dragged on, but I call bullshit on that. I thought Baltimore should get fined for that.
Okay,
I'm hoping the NFL looks into that because that screwed up some other teams. I heard today, I can't remember if Schefter or whoever, talking about the Cowboys. They signed a defensive lineman from Green Bay,
Rashawn Gary,
that they maybe wouldn't have signed if they could have gotten Crosby.
So
and now their salary cap is messed up and they can't go after Crosby.
So do you think the Ravens did this on purpose? They never intended. So you think the Ravens negotiated a trade with the Raiders to acquire Max Crosby, knowing full well that when he came to Baltimore, they were going to fail his physical and rescind the trade?
If things progressed with Hendrickson, yes. That's what I would contend.
Hey, I'll buy it.
I'm not into conspiracy theories, but how can that happen just that quickly?
I don't
with
know.
A marquee pass rusher like Trey Hendrickson, and then all of a sudden, less than 24 hours after we get the news that Crosby failed his physical, that they signed this other guy?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
there's got to be a fine for the Ravens.
You bring up good points, and everybody was pretty upset about it afterwards. We talked about the Bam out of Bayou.
Get back in the Crosby sweepstakes then?
Why not? I mean,
I know Rob Staten's all over that. You like it?
I love it. If they can get Max Crosby now, I'm all in.
That's going to be interesting, isn't it? I mean, just to see. I mean, Crosby, he can't stay with the Raiders now. He already said the goodbye letter on Instagram or whatever.
Well, once you do the goodbye letter, you can never, ever go back. Ever. We talked about the Bam Adebayo story. I don't know. He's 80. The free throw stuff is the best. He was 36 of 43 from the free throw line.
Yeah. Crazy. No,
how many points he scored in the first quarter?
31.
31.
Yeah.
Dang.
No, it was a sensational night for him, and I hate to water it down with some of the other stuff, but it did happen where they were intentionally fouling so that
it was
they could
terrible.
Get more possessions.
It's bad. Get it like legit or don't get it at all. But whatever. Meaningless game. The Wizards were like, whatever. We want to lose because we want to try and improve our draft status. So, the only other thing I got for you that you won't like to hear, I can play it for you. You're going to be bummed about it, but yesterday Canzano said the reason why they did not fire David Riley was because of he owed too much money. $2.7 million, apparently, according to Canzano, was the buyout. That's what they actually would have owed him.
Million.
Yeah, thought it was $1 million, so $2.7 million. So that is why David Riley is coming back. I don't know if you were like me, degenerate gamblers and just basketball fans. I was up late night watching the Vandals advance the Big Sky Championship against Eastern Washington. I'm watching a Vandals team play, and this kid from Quarter Lane, this little white kid running around shooting threes and layups going, that starting five, in fact, Idaho beat the Cougars earlier this year anyways. That's a better basketball team than a I guess Division I Power 5 team is in Washington State. I mean, God, if it can do it at Idaho, why can't you do it at Washington State? I mean, every player on that Idaho team is better than everyone on the Cougars except for Ace Glass.
Yeah, and boy, they play defense. They play together. They're fun to watch. I saw them the other night when they beat like Montana State, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love. You know what? I've been watching that Big Sky Conference tournament from Boise, and I just love the fact that they call it Starch Madness.
Madness.
Have you seen their logo with a hoop and French fries and a basketball?
Right. And the great Roxy Bernstein on the call.
Oh God, those games are fun. It reminds me of before NIL and transfers and everything else, the Big Sky tournament. I'm going, God, I can get involved with that. Yeah. That arena in Boise looks great.
Do you know how many I came across this stat last week? So there's like 330 Division I basketball teams.
And we're 330th in defense.
Well, probably. Sure, probably are. Guess how many players were honored on senior night out of 300 plus teams in college basketball? How many players were honored on senior night that were at that school all 4 years?
Oh, I'll go with 10.
22.
22.
Out of 320 odd programs in America, 22 players had spent their entire career at said school.
And who'd we honor? Rodriguez and somebody else.
I don't know. Just Rodriguez.
I
really don't know.
Rodriguez at senior night, I think everyone was applauding that his career is over.
They were actually encouraging him to, great, just leave now. Give him his diploma and then let him exit.
Puck, how long have you been watching basketball?
A long time.
Okay. Have you ever seen a guard when you're watching any game anywhere at all times who doesn't want to shoot the ball? That kid did not want to shoot anything less than a layup.
You're correct.
it just drove me nuts. I don't give a shit about the plus minus with Rodriguez on the floor and a facilitator and all that. If you're a guard, shoot the damn ball. Okay, that's all.
That is, we'll end on that. It was a lengthy one with you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Go hit some golf balls. We'll see you in a few days. Thank you.
Okay, Puck. Go Cougs.
There he is. Jim Moore, the go-to guy. If it's fun you desire, it's fun you're going to get at Flat Stick Pub. It doesn't matter what the occasion is, whether it's date night, guys night, ladies night, or large group event, Flat Stick Pub's got you covered. They have 6 great locations across the Pacific Northwest, from Pioneer Square to Kirkland, South Lake Union, Spokane, Bellingham, and Redmond. All locations offer the best pub experience in Washington. 2 rules at Flat Stick Pub: drink local and have fun. Pretty simple. So if you like to have fun, love local beer, and great tasting food, make Flat Stick Pub your next spot. Visit them at flatstickpub.com. All right, big thanks again to the go-to guy, Jim Moore, as he joins us Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Brought to you by Brotherton Cadillac. Also a clean streak, a lengthy discussion today, a lengthy visit with him. Now, as we do every single Wednesday, we catch up with the one and only Ryan Divish of the Seattle Times. Inside Pitch with Divish. Brought to you by Chalet Bowl, Washington's oldest operating bowling alley. Divish and I usually talk in the morning. This is a lengthy one. The full show available exclusively for Puck's Posse members. You can go to pucksports.com to sign up today. But every Wednesday, we give you the Ryan Divish light version, courtesy of Chalet Bowl. What do you make of it as this story has developed in the last few days?
I think it's perfect fodder for social media and for podcasts. Is what it is. Honestly, like my buddies over at Foul Territory got some mileage out of this, because it's the debate of all debates. Because it feels very Red Sox. Like the soap opera versus the actual baseball. When I woke up to it, because they didn't show it on the broadcast. They didn't show the interaction on the broadcast whatsoever. And so one of the Latin American reporters posted it, and then I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, huh. And then I saw Randy's comments, and I was just like, oh my God. Like, this wasn't Kevin Mather type of deal where I saw those comments. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. But at this one, I'm like, no, I don't need to deal with this today. And so, obviously Adam Jude was in Seattle. He was texting me, and so I was like, yeah, you handle it from up there and I'll handle it from here, and we'll just kind of co-byline it and write it. So he wrote the particulars off of what he saw on social media, and then I talked to Dan, kind of talked to a couple players. All the players knew, and they found it rather amusing. Like, the couple of them were like, hey, Ryan, you got anything to write about today? And I'm like, and then I said to Manny Acta, because he's kind of like, when the coaches have to deal with Latin players and they don't want anything lost in translation or anything like that, Manny kind of does it. And also Manny, sometimes when he has to be the disciplinarian for Latin players, he does that. He's kind of old school that way. So I saw Manny go, hey, Manny, how was your morning? He kind of looked at me and he goes, I know what you're going to ask. I'm surprised you haven't asked me already. And I was just like, because it's just, I didn't want to have to write about it. And I'm sure, I'm kind of like with Cal, oh my God. From everything I've been told, Randy knew not to try to shake his hand before he went up to the plate. That they had made it clear, hey, we're not doing that. And it was a Team USA thing. I think DeRosa talked about it in his presser, but it was like a Team USA deal. Hey, we're putting country ahead of teammates and friendships. I think my buddy Jason, I used to play, one of my high school buddies, and he's like, whether it was pickup hoops or we would play in this high-level fast-pitch softball or anything we go do, he'd just say, hey, stop talking to them. He goes, you don't need to be their friend now. He goes, you have enough fucking friends. That's what he always said to me. We don't need to be friends with who we play. So, I guess that's the whole mentality that the U.S. was trying to put forward, and Cal bought into it, because he's a team guy. He's not going to be the one to upset the apple cart and, go against it. But honestly, do we really think in the real world where Cal Raleigh doesn't do that with one of his teammates, or doesn't come on. So I did like that people thought Randy was joking, and maybe he'll come out and say it. But I had like one scout text me, goes, Randy Arozarena is incapable of joking about himself in any way possible. So, I mean,
do you buy that he had pine tar on his hand?
Well, that is a thing that they've been doing. And I'm sure he does, because Randy puts a lot of stuff on his bat, still manages to throw it at least twice. But like, no, I think it was more like sending a message like, we're here for business, we're here to win. You know, we've seen other catchers do it during this WBC. So I don't, you know, and I mean, like, the same time, like, I have never seen the whole handshake deal either. Usually they just tap the guy on the shin guard, or or slap him on the ass with their bat or something like that. They don't do the whole ritual handshake. And maybe that's Randy being Randy and wanting to kind of show, hey, look, this is what these guys are like. But I thought it was pretty stupid all the way around, you know. And then, you know, Craig Cowell, like, I texted him in that morning. He said, hey, I'll try, and he goes, I just want to talk to all of you, is I think what he told me. And so then, you know, he got a hold of Alex Mayer, and then they set up a FaceTime. And so we talked to him before everyone else, because Cal just, I think, didn't want it to be an issue, but it had already become one on social media. Because like something like that on social media, just a lot, it's like, because it's all speculation and inference, because nobody really knows. You know, for as much as I've been around Randy Arozarena for the last year and a half, I don't really know him personally. I know Cal really well because I've covered him since he was drafted. And, you know, and he's pretty open. Randy is very quiet and keeps to himself. You know, he isn't a guy to let you in. So I don't know a ton about him. I know enough to think that, like, I knew enough to think that that wasn't really being sarcastic. He may come out and say that because that's a good way to work around it. But I don't think he was being sarcastic or had some inside joke. I think he was irritated. I think, you know, sometimes when he gets talking in front of cameras, especially when he's talking to Latin American reporters where he can just speak freely because it's in his own language, he doesn't have an interpreter, you know, he's more apt to say things. So, yeah, I was just like, this is going to be such social media and kind of sports talk fodder, because you can debate it. Like, you can debate intentions, who's the worst guy in the situation, and all that other stuff. Who's a bad teammate?
Well,
you know,
I want to circle back to that. I want to come back to the it's not nothing between these two. I want to come back to that. But first, you guys talk. So the clip we played is from Cal with reporters in Houston. This is before they're going to play Italy on Tuesday. You guys talked to him. It's what I would assume you, Daniel Kramer, MLB.com, Shannon Dreyer, that covers the Mariners, you three?
Yeah.
Okay. He didn't take questions from reporters in Houston. Did he do a similar thing with you? Did he just do a statement and that's it, or did he take questions?
No, we asked some questions.
Okay.
So we asked him, I go, hey, like, you know, it's being portrayed. I can't even remember. Like, Dan said, can you walk us through it? He said, you know, and then what the inference is like, the way Team USA was doing it is like no fraternizing with the enemy. You know, like, if you watch how those guys were doing it, they were very serious. Didn't really help them win. I didn't help them pitch very well, but that's kind of how their whole mentality. You remember when you saw a judge give the speech and all that stuff? I mean, you know,
I wanted to run through a wall after that speech.
Yeah. It was Newt Rockney. It was Al Pacino. The inches that we need are out there, you know,
because it was the all-time worst hype speech ever from a professional athlete. It was an all-time worst.
But, you know, and the thing is I'm sure it was that way also because the cameras are there, and it was made, you know, it was, they wanted the access of showing it. Like, I'm sure, like, it's better. Like, my favorite is the Augie Garrido post game where he's yelling at his team about, I got to live with this my whole effing life.
The Texas coach.
Yeah. Or like the Mike Leach one when he's at Texas Tech and their fat little girlfriends and stuff. Those are genuine because, or like the one of Ron Washington before Game 7, like these MFers can play, but we got some badass, you know, like those are genuine because they're not staged. Like that whole thing felt so staged, and you can tell Judge wasn't comfortable doing it in that way. But that's what we have with social media now and trying to build stuff up. Like, look at how much there is social media presence there is for the WBC trying to build a fan base. And I'm thinking, really, you don't need that because the baseball's been pretty good, that you don't need all that, that it's getting better, that teams like Italy can win games now and stuff like that. And you have the walk-off homers. How about the dude from Czechoslovakia that's like a factory worker, and the people in Japan gave him a standing ovation? Like, if that doesn't put a lump in your throat, he's
an electric. We talked about this this week. He's an electrician. It was topping 80 miles an hour and shut them out.
Yeah, struck out Shohei, and then like that'll be the best moment of his life. And they're just like, I mean, like that, you don't need to force moments, but I think WBC and these social media people that get a degree in social media now, and they're trying to force moments. It's like, we can't figure out who the freaking opening day starter is because it's got to be set up so the Mariners have a camera in there and announce it. It's been that way since when Julio, like, it'd be different too if the camera was hidden or something like that, but it's not anymore. Like these moments, I love the call up moments when the camera's hidden and they don't know.
Yeah.
But like even then, it's not really genuine because the manager knows that the camera's in there, so he's making sure that he kind of does it right. Whereas like I was there one day in Tacoma. I happened to be in Tacoma doing some work on a player that had been injured, and Mike Wilson, who was a longtime AAA player, got called up, and Darren Brown, who was his manager, got to tell him, and Darren Brown had been his manager from low A all the way through the minors at some point, and known the kid. They're both from Oklahoma, and like, I just got to stand there off to the side and watch him tell him, and like Darren Brown's crying, and it was super genuine, and it wasn't forced. I mean, of all the things I hate about social media, and this is probably lowest on the list. I mean, it drives me nuts. That's what we're driving some of the content to, when we see these moments.
All right. Don't get out. Let's get 10-2. Let's get back on the road here. So his TED Talk is over, ladies and gentlemen, about social media. So back to Cal. You guys got a chance to then talk to him where he took questions and follow-ups and all that. I'm curious, it was kind of vague with the reporters in Houston and then what I read from your accounts. Has he actually talked to Randy Arozarena, or did he just leave him a message?
No, he texted with him, I think. Here's a problem. Like, we were trying to talk to Randy yesterday. Randy's not really known for answering his phone.
Well, let me just stop you. Did Cal say Randy responded to him?
I don't remember if he did or not. He said they talked. And I don't know if it's by a text or whatever, but I do know that after the game as well, Cal went over to the visitors clubhouse after the game as well. I think to clarify some stuff. And maybe
did they talk then?
I don't know. That's just what reporters told me, that they saw him going to the visitors clubhouse. So like, this is kind of like the whole deal where, Cal came out and apologized, for his comments on the second and last day of the year. And people are saying, they made him do it. He did not. They did not make him do it. He decided to do it on his own. I'm sure it was suggested to him that he should do it, but I think he'd already figured he better do it because he doesn't want, like, he never wants to be the story. Like when we, with all the success he's had, like, he hated talking about himself so much. And like, he'd rather, and I always told people this, like when people would come in, national guys, I'm like, hey man, if it's a group setting and they're post game, don't come flying in and ask him about his accolades right away. Like, ask about the game first, because he'll shut down on that because he doesn't want it to be about himself, especially when it's a team win or something happens. Like, he doesn't want to talk about the records initially. He wants to talk about the team first. He'll get into answering your questions about whether or not, his chase for 60 and all that. But like, don't go in asking about him first, because that's not a good way to open him up and get him to talk.
And there's the irony in that, really, with this whole situation, because if they go on as we're sitting here recording this on a Wednesday, so if people are watching or listening to this later, on Thursday night or Friday or whatever later this week, they may have already been eliminated. Let's just say they get eliminated. He unfortunately is going to be one of these poster childs of why they got eliminated. That's going to be the narrative. It's going to be him. And I'm not saying it's fair. I'm just telling you that's how it's going to be portrayed. It's going to be him. It's going to be Bryce Harper's comments about the WBC not really being a big deal because everyone just cares about the Olympics. And then Tarek Skubal's song and dance with it. It's going to be those three guys.
Well,
and that's unfortunate, because I think we all agree back here, no one wants to win more for whatever team they're on than Cal Raleigh.
Oh yeah.
No one. He bleeds winning.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like, that's the world we live in, is there's stupid cheap narratives. I mean, like, is it a bigger narrative that the manager didn't know the run differential in a game and how tournament works? Like, my fiance knows that from a tournament we play in Lewistown, Montana.
Well, every person that's a parent that's ever spent time on Game Changer at a baseball and softball tournament at a 12U, 13, 15, they all know the rules.
Like,
he should have put a 12U parent on his staff to help him with the run differential.
Well, yeah, I mean, it seemed like a parent was scoring the game because there was no error, like the errors that weren't called on the U.S. that should have been errors, and they can't make a play.
Listen,
hits for everybody.
Come on. Kelly knows to take care of the home team.
But yeah, like DeRosa's a good dude, and I really
you're right
like
about
him.
DeRosa too. You're right about DeRosa. He's going to be a huge storyline.
You can't play Goldschmidt. It's not like you've been in this tournament, you've coached and these things are like for me, it's not necessarily the same as Little League or whatever, but like when we're playing in a tournament and it's pool play first, you got to get there. I'm playing my horses in the games I want to win. And then the young kids that need to get in innings, that's after we've already secured our spot.
Because he didn't know.
No,
I know what he didn't know, what he said on Hot Stove with Harold and Matt for Surgeon. That's the truth. He didn't know because he said after the game, right, in the post game. Well, I misspoke. He didn't misspeak.
Well, because that's another thing is like,
because look at the lineup and look at the lineup and the fact that he had Clayton Kershaw warming up.
Yeah,
tells you that he thought that they didn't need to win the game.
Well, he also didn't understand the run differential right away either, because then you would have went your horses to try and.
Right, Mason Miller comes in early in the game, or whoever.
Yeah, you're trying to piece it together, and then, and also just like, yeah. Although like PCA was buried on the bench for Byron Buxton, who's swinging and missing at everything, and that PCA just was pounding baseballs, and so it's like, I mean, like, you know, I guess it doesn't really matter whether they win or lose today, right? Nothing matters today if they don't play today, right?
No, they don't play. It's
Italy and Mexico.
It's Italy and Mexico, and the stupid tiebreakers. I mean, Italy wins. It's Italy and the U.S. If Mexico wins with 5 or more runs, it's Mexico and the U.S. If Mexico scores 4 or less, it's Mexico and Italy.
Yeah. It's really. It'll be interesting to see how that works. I mean, like, again, it was just kind of goofy how they did that. And then again, who was the pitcher that got hurt? Because they put in Yarborough on the roster because there was a pitcher that got hurt. I don't remember who it was.
I don't know. I think that's the one thing and I don't know who was asked who decided not to go. I think Brian Wu was asked, right? He declined to go just because of health.
Yeah, and then like Gilbert's agent was asked early in the offseason if he had any interest in there. No, he's coming off injury.
I just think that, again, going to DeRosa not thinking that they needed to win, you start a guy who's an unbelievable pitcher. Nolan McLean's is great.
Yeah.
But he's had 8 career starts in Major League Baseball, and he's 24.
They didn't get the starting pitchers they wanted for their roster. You know, it's like...
Yeah, you look at these pitchers on the roster, it's not the best of the best.
No.
And that's concerning, but that's people got to make the decision, right? You got guys like Tarek Skubal who are just like, listen, this isn't important enough to me to do it.
Yeah.
I got money. I got $400 million, and I don't want to.
I think it's closer to $500 million, but
$500 million.
But like also like Logan Gilbert coming off an injury, and he's a year and a half or 2 years away from his walk year. You know, when you just see Dylan Cease get $270 million and Max Fried get, it changes your math.
Yeah, I get it. You know, or even George Kirby. You know, guys like that. Or I'd like to know where was Trey Savage?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, maybe he was asked and declined. Okay, so let me just go back to Cal and Randy for a second. I don't think this is something that is going to fracture the clubhouse.
No.
Okay. I don't think it's going to get out of control where these two, they're professionals. I certainly think Cal, it's not going to be a big deal for Cal, even though I guess technically Cal started it. Now, the concerning thing would be, how is Randy going to handle it?
Drink Georgetown Tavern Beer, your new locally brewed domestic-style lager. 4.2% alcohol. Cheap, good, local.
Full Ryan Divish again available for Puck's Posse members. Go to pucksports.com, sign up there. You'll get the full 37 minutes, both video and audio, coming up later today of Ryan Divish and I going more in depth there on the relationship between Randy and Cal and what if there will be at all any lasting impact whatsoever. Big thanks to Chalet Bowl. Once again, another year of sponsoring Inside Pitch there with Ryan Divish. We always give you a light version every week, but the full show with Divish available for only Puck's Posse members. If you'd like to sign up to be a member, go do it. Give it a try for a month. You know, get crazy. All right? Don't go out for a cup of coffee one time. One time. Try it out for a month. You don't like it? You're like, it's not worth it. That's it. You did it for 1 month. No problem. Pucksports.com. It's $5 a month. That's it. You can sign up for a year and get a discount. As we always say, if you have any issues with the money, financial situations, we'll make it work. No problem. Send me an email, puck@pucksports.com. All right. Getting close to wrapping up the show today. On this day, which is March 11th, we'll get to all of our stories, but on this day, brought to you by Hive Social, the official social meetup app of Puck Sports. Download Hive Social today, iOS or Google Play. It is free. That is Hive Social, HYV Social. Invite your friends and fellow sports fans. You can join the Puck's Posse on Hive Social today. All right, on this day, God, this seems like ages ago, 2020. Where were you? God, I know exactly where I was, March 11th, 2020. I was driving on Mercer, heading to the freeway, had just passed the Flat Stick Pub down there on South Lake Union, when I heard Ian Furness announce that the NBA is suspending their season until further notice. And that's what happened March 11th, 2020. NBA announcing that they will suspend their season until further notice after Rudy Gobert had tested positive for COVID on this day. I remember it. It's funny how those little things that you remember, right? They would resume the season later that summer, June 4th, with 22 teams playing at the Walt Disney World's complex in the NBA bubble. You remember that when they played in the bubble? The best thing that came out of that bubble was that Jimmy Butler and Rachel Nichols apparently hooked up. Literally was the only thing I remember from the bubble. I actually had to look it up today who won the championship, because it's not a real championship. The following day, on March 12th, the NHL would follow suit. They would cancel their season. The Lakers defeated, or they would suspend their season. Lakers, as I looked up today, defeated the Heat 4-2 to win their 17th NBA title. I think there should be an asterisk there. They didn't actually win it. There were no fans. They didn't have to go on the road. But again, the bubble was best known for Rachel Nichols and apparently Jimmy Butler. Happy birthday, March 11th, going out to this young man. He turned 62 today. I believe he directed one of the finest American films ever created based on a fine American book. He later turned that book and that movie into the greatest television show ever. In fact, a television show that my wife and son about finished binge watching it about four or 5 months ago. And they watched, I think, all 6 seasons in about, it felt like 4 months. And that would be director Peter Berg, turned 62 today. Started off as an actor, been in a bunch of roles, but then best known for being a director. And it was his 3rd film that put him on the map. He directed Buzz Bissinger's New York Times bestseller, Friday Night Lights, starring Billy Bob Thornton. And his career took off. Berg would later develop and was the executive producer of the television series Friday Night Lights, starring Eric Tammy Taylor. One of the greatest, Smash Williams and Riggs and Matt Sarrazin, and the greatest television show ever. Friday Night Lights. Happy birthday to Peter Berg. On this day, brought to you by Hive Social. That's Hive Social, HYV Social. Download the social app on iOS or Google Play today. It is free. Hey, What the Puck is brought to you by Tersuli Construction. Reach out to them from emergency response to full-scale rebuilds and remodels. Tersuli Construction is a full-service contractor handling your project from start to finish. Locally owned and operated out of Bel Air for those local. They are been serving the Puget Sound area for over 15 years. If you're dealing with damage or planning what's next, give them a call to the team that does it all, Tersuli Construction. Restoring what matters and building what's next. Give them a call. Tell them Puck sent you. Say hi to Trent and the crew. 206-793-3744 and visit them at tersuli.com. So I saw this. Everyone was sharing this today on social media, the Facebook post from Howard Schultz. Like we really give a shit what Howard Schultz is up to and where he's going. But apparently we do because I'm talking about it. Howard Schultz is leaving Seattle. He's leaving the state of Washington. He's going to Florida with the rest of the billionaires. Everyone's going to Florida because he doesn't want to pay his fair share of taxes. This is not the show to get into that, but whatever. That's why he's leaving. That's why everyone's leaving. Boo fucking who. And you know what? To Howard Schultz, good riddance. You should have left a long time ago. Howard Schultz is the single worst player in the history of Seattle sports. The single worst. There is no one worse than Howard Schultz. No one. He sold out a city. He sold out a fan base. He sold out an organization. He sold out a culture of basketball that has been robbed from this community for 15 years and going on longer. He is the absolute worst of the worst. He is the vile of human beings. He's awful. He doesn't belong. He doesn't even belong to actually even be recognized with this, oh, farewell, off to Florida. His establishment honestly should be purged from this city for what he did. I'm honest. And I'm glad they're moving out. Good riddance. Good riddance to all of those stores. And I'll be honest with you. I if you call yourself a sports fan and you go there, I really question whether or not you really are a Seattle sports fan if you still go there and buy their products. Because I don't get it. I don't get why you would want to do that, especially if you're a sports fan and then really a Sonics fan. Why would you want to ever patronize that place ever again? See you later. No one's going to miss you. That is Hey, What the Puck, brought to you by Tersuli Construction. Give them a call, 206-793-3744. Visit them at tersuli.com. Big thanks to everybody watching and listening to today's show. Thank you to all our sponsors. As always, couldn't do it without your support. So thank you. Hey, if you'd like to advertise, you can. It's always available. Puck at pucksports.com. Anybody that's interested in doing some advertising. But big thanks to the ones who have been here from the get-go. Limback Lumber, Flat Stick Pub, Georgetown Brewery. A big thanks to our new ones as well. I mean, Tersuli Construction's been around for since day one as well. They were home restoration. And then a new advertiser there in Hive Social. Big thanks to all the support. Today's Daily Puck Drop, you can find it up on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. You may watch it and watch all the videos, but you're not a subscriber. Nothing bad's going to happen to you when you hit that subscribe button. So just hit that subscribe button. Also follow the show on all the podcast platforms, Apple and Spotify. When you're there, if you can, please spend about 30 seconds. Probably that's all it's going to take you. Write a review of the show. Rate the show, please. It helps us move up the ladder there in the podcast world. And then also visit pucksports.com. There you can sign up to become a member of the Pucks Posse. It's just $5 a month. Again, it goes to support the free content we do daily. In addition to it, we give you bonus shows throughout the week. The Sports Pit is out. The latest one was stretched from yesterday. Inside Pitch with Ryan Divish out today. And KJ Arns with Mitch Levy coming out tomorrow. Also, be sure to check out the Grods with Gas Take 5 podcast, normally coming out on Mondays. We produce that here at Puck Sports. but it's coming out later today, so be on the lookout for that. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. We will talk to you tomorrow on a Thursday. As always, we bid you adieu, and we promise to be better. That's what I'm talking about. 3, 2, 1. We bid you adieu, and we promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah. I was born to love. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you, but you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!